Hello! So this video is about how to print your own customized order sheet or pick list from your eBay account. So the reason you might want to do that is, say you have 50 orders to pick or 100 orders to pick, or maybe you only have a dozen orders to pick. But you want those orders printed off in a certain order. In my case, I want them ordered by custom SKU number. This video is about how you could write a script or a program to do such a thing. So in my case, why I wanted to have them printed in a certain order is I sell postcards, and I have them on shelves, and on the top shelf I actually have to get up on a step stool to reach the top few shelves. And if they're not printed by SKU number, I might be going up to the top shelf and then going back down and then going back up to the same top shelf again. So it's just really a time saver to have SKUs printed in order, so I can, go to the first box of postcards on the bottom, and then I can work my way up as I go down the list in order. So let's get into the programming and what I originally did, and then how you might go about creating something your own with ChatGPT's help. So what I do to do that is I just bring up a command prompt on my PC, and I type python get orders.py, and I hit enter, and it'll pop up this order sheet, and then I can print off and pull my orders. So this is just something, was a custom program I made in 2020 when I first started selling postcards. And what it does is let me bring up a summary of what exactly it does. So how can I create the program that does the following? So what it does, it connects to the eBay fulfillment API to get unshipped paid orders. It sorts them by SKU. It creates a PDF of all my listings to pick, and then it automatically opens the PDF. So I had created this on my own, and I created it before ChatGPT was a thing, and it actually took a little bit of time. I do have some programming experience, so I wasn't clueless going into it, but it did take a bit for me to figure it out. So what I'm going to try now is I'm going to put this this text here into ChatGPT and see what ChatGPT spits out. So I'll copy this. So I'm asking it, how can I create a program that does the following? So I guess this is if someone wants to try this or thinks it might be useful to them, they might be able to do it on their own. So how can I create a program that does the following? Connects to eBay's fulfillment API, sorts them by SKU, creates a PDF file, automatically opens the PDF. And I'm asking it, please create the entire program in one response, keeping in mind security issues. And then I'm asking it, what are the security risks of having this on my computer? And then here's a kind of a technical question, but I can get to that in a bit. So let's see if ChatGPT can actually do this. So it says, perfect, let's build it. Python. Below is a single Python script that uses a token, calls the fulfillment API to fetch paid but not fulfilled orders, sorts each line by numeric SKU, creates a PDF, opens the PDF, keeps secrets and environment variables, has notes about security risks and why environment variables are a decent approach. So that's one thing I kind of want to stress. If you're not familiar with really programming concepts, you want to always be aware of the security risks of doing something like this, because if you think about it, when I'm running this script, it's actually going out to eBay. It's getting that information from eBay and it's transmitting that information back to my computer. It's putting it into this PDF. And you notice I didn't have to enter my password when I did that. I just ran the script and it got the information for me. So I kind of understand, well, I do understand how that works, so I'm comfortable with how it's working and the security approach, the security, I guess the method I put in place to do that. Anyway, so it's recommending the name of the program. It says in order to do this, you'll need Python. You need to run this command once you install Python, which what this does is it installs a library called Report Lab and a library called Requests. And then here's a Python program. These are all the libraries it needs to run. Here's some comments about the environment variables that you need. So it says set these Windows environment variables. You need a client ID, a client secret, you need an eBay refresh token, and then an eBay environment, so prod or sandbox. I think the default is prod. So this, I think, is an optional environment variable. So the thing that allows you to call eBay and it'll access your account is this refresh token. So that's the part that you need to treat like a password. So ChatGPT is recommending putting that variable in your environment, so setting these in your Windows environment variables. So variables, that's where you would set those. And when you go to that screen, there's a user environment variables and there's a system environment variables. And I believe ChatGPT is going to recommend to set the variables in the user environment variables. That way the only user that can see those variables is your account. So other accounts can't get it. And then if another user would want to get that information, they'd have to have administrator permissions on your computer. So let's see what else this program does. So first thing it does is it grabs those environment variables from your session. So if they're not set, then this program is not going to work. Then it sets the endpoints for your authentication, and then the actual getting the data. So here it looks like here's a sandbox endpoint, and here is the production endpoint. So this is the URL that your program is actually going to call to get those orders. Step 1, get access from the refresh token. So the first thing it looks like happens is the program is going to need to authenticate, and once it does that, it'll be able to call the actual URL to get the orders. So step 2, fetch unpaid orders. Fetch unshipped paid orders. And then it gives some detail about how to do it, about what it's doing. So it looks like it has some information in the header of the request, which is the token, the content type of the request. So JSON is the content type, which is just like list pairs of data in a certain format. The parameters of the type of orders you want. So we want not started. The fulfillment should be not started, and the paid should be paid. So this is going to get any orders that haven't yet had a shipping label created, basically. So once a shipping label is created, it won't be in a not started fulfillment status. It'll be in a different status. So this will get anything paid, but no shipping label has yet to be generated. And here it executes the request, and this line here is where it gets the response and returns the orders from this particular function. The next thing it does is it normalizes, aligns items, and sorts by SKU. So here it looks like this function is passing, the input parameter is the data that we just got from the previous function, and now it's going through the orders, and it's just kind of putting everything in the correct order. So it's ready to build the PDF. And here it creates the PDF. So there's just some code here that sets the font and is drawing the lines and the rows on the PDF. And here it's opening the PDF. And then here is just the main part of the script where it's calling all the functions that we just went through. So it gets the token, so it calls get access token. It gets the unshipped orders, and then it normalizes the line items, it sorts them, and then it creates the PDF. And that is it. So here it talks about the security risks, and it's definitely something that's that should be understood if if you're gonna try to do something like this. So it says refresh token, long-lived access. If someone gets your eBay refresh token, they can mint new access tokens and talk to eBay as you. That's a big one. Script on a compromised PC. If malware runs on your Windows user, it can read your environment variables, so environment variables are better than hard coding in a file, but not bulletproof. Yeah. Accidental git commit. If you hardcode tokens in your script and later put it on GitHub, they're public. That's why env vars are safer. Shared account RDP. If multiple people log into the same Windows user, they can all see environment variables. Logging, printing. Don't print eBay refresh token or dump your whole OS environment variables to logs. Are user account environment variables a good way? Yeah, for a Windows PC, they're good, safer, optional way than hard coding. But remember, they're only secure as your Windows account. Malware and your permissions can still read them. If you need something stronger, you'd move to Windows Credential Manager, encrypted file, or secrets vault. So let me show you another version. So I'm not sure if this version here that was just printed through this walkthrough is the same as, so I created it, I did this prompt before the video, and then I'm just redoing it again to show you know, show and tell what it does. But I had already created a version of what ChatGPT did, and I want to show you. I'm not sure if it's going to be exactly what you would get if you do this prompt, but here is what I got. Oh, and now it's giving me a permission denied. Oh, that's because I have, so I still have my version open. So this was my version that I created before I used ChatGPT. And then this one, so this one here is what I just created today with ChatGPT. So it looks a little nicer. Even has a quantity column, so like this one here, someone ordered 3 of this Disney postcard. So it gives me the SKU, the title, the quantity, the order, and the buyer. I really only need the SKU. Sometimes the title's helpful. If I like transpose the number, I can double check. Like double check quick at a glance if it's the right one. But I like this. I might start using this one. So the other thing to keep in mind is I did get some errors when I first ran ChatGPT's version. It didn't come out right. Now this version I just did now, it might have come out right. I guess I don't know for sure. We could try it. But it might be right just because it knows all the errors from my history. But one thing it doesn't get right is this information right here. It says eBay's docs say certain special characters must be URL encoded. So this value here, not started, it needs to be in the code with this particular, I guess just this particular way. It needs to have these characters represent this one character here. So that's on a website somewhere on eBay's documentation, and ChatGPT just doesn't read that when it generates the code the first time, but apparently it took that into account this time. So let's maybe try this and see if this version works. So this is the first time I put in the prompt, it generated this code. Now these environment variables, I already have these entered in to my user account. Let's just see if this works. So here's my notepad. We'll call this get orders chatgpt2.py. And let's see if it'll run. Missing one or more required environment variables. Oh, okay. I think I think the environment variables are have a slightly different name. Let me check. Yeah. So let me change those. So I'm just not going to show you this screen because I have the, these are like the variables you need to keep secret. So once those are changed, I have to close out of this window. And now when I open it, my changes should be effective. Okay. So it didn't work. So it's giving me this error. Invalid filter value. So I'm just gonna, I think I know what the fix is, but I'm just gonna ask ChatGPT. So all I'm gonna do is gonna copy this error. I'm gonna put it here. So it's saying replace the old params assignment inside your get unshipped paid orders function with this. Alright, so it's saying separate filters by a comma, not by a line. So on this line, I'm going to get rid of this. Replace it with a comma. Oops. Save it. Try it again. Still gave me an error. So let's see what the error is now. Let's see what ChatGPT says about this. don't think that's right. Let me see what's in my other one. So I've not started an in progress in my other one. So I don't know why ChatGPT doesn't get that right. I'm just going to change this to not started, in progress. Now I'm going to try it. Well, it didn't take that. I'm going to get rid of the payment status. I don't think that's needed. Oh, there is actually a line right there. Okay, let's try one more time. Okay, I think it was open. Close that. Alright. So that looks like the same version that it created the first time for me. So you can see it's a little bit of a pain because I don't know if it's just eBay's documentation isn't that great or ChatGPT just doesn't read all the documentation. I'm not really sure why it doesn't get it right. I think the issue might be one of the issues is there's just a lot of changes that have been made to eBay's API over 25 years, so it might not know exactly like what pages to look at of the documentation. But with a little effort, and I guess with my knowledge of doing it on my own and figuring it out on my own, I was able to, with ChatGPT's help, I could get a better version of the program created than I had created originally. Okay, so I did ask ChatGPT one more question. I'm asking it, how do I get an eBay developer account to run this request? So I kind of feel like ChatGPT glossed over that in the initial answer, and it's kind of a big part of getting this request to work, because if you don't have the credential token set up, nothing's going to work. And you can't just use your eBay username and password to run this code. You actually have to set up a developer account and get that client ID, get that client secret, and get that refresh token set up. And you can see here that there's 4 steps to do that. So the first one's pretty easy, join the eBay developers program. So there's a separate website for eBay developers. You have to create an account there, and then once you do that, you create what's called an API key set, and then there's a few more technical steps that you have to go through. So I don't know, I might do a separate video on that. I guess if anyone's interested, shoot me a comment below. But yeah, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.